What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and welcome back to another BT9 decklist profile. Today we're going to be going over one of the more anticipated decks going into BT9, GrandisKuwagamon. This is a deck that had a lot of hype when it was first announced, something that people have been very excited about going into this format for the past few formats. So after quite a bit of testing, this is where I'm at with the list. You can see a little breakdown of it right here, but of course, as always, we are going to go a little bit deeper in on each card, so let's get on into it. Alright, so starting off here with the Digitama, we do have a fairly standard lineup here. We have the 4 Yokomon, which when this card is Digibursted, one of your Digimon gets plus 2k DP, so you could give that to one of your other Digimon, or you could give it to your GrandisKuwagamon if you aren't having the jamming Palmon and you feel like you need a higher DP boost, or you could even use it to go ahead and swing over one of your opponent's Digimon if you need that DP boost and get the piercing check. So I really like Yokomon, but if you wanted to go a different route, you could also go with the Gummimon. I am playing it as a 1 of, but I have seen a couple lists playing it as a 4 of because of the jamming Palmon, but Gummimon is very strong. When one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you get to draw one, and so this works in multiple different ways. Even, for example, if your opponent blocks, it will be suspended. You get the draw off of that, so it is a nice little draw card. A lot of decks do run these draw one rookies, and they are just good consistency cards, and you kind of need consistency in this deck, so I could see Gummimon going up, but I do like the Yokomon just because you don't always have your jamming Palmon. Now getting on into the rookies, we have one of the security attack +1 Kokuamon. I think this card is okay. I don't think it's super necessary, but it does work really well with the Kokuamon X Antibody and allowing you to Digivolve on top of the Kokuamon, so that way you get another card in your stack, so you're able to Digiburst. And then you can also get the Wind Digivolving on top of the Kokuamon. This card is one to Digivolve rookie, so it is something that you have to keep in mind, so you can't just Digivolve this for free. You'll have to pay memory, which is why I only played it as 1. It's a card that is nice. Sometimes, especially in slower matchups, being able to build up with this to get that extra check later is nice, but I don't really think it's super necessary. I just liked it as a tech, as a 1 of. Then we got 3 Memory Blocker Terriermon. This card is very strong. Being able to block memory in this format is going to be very good. There's lots of memory tamers, lots of other ways to gain memory, like various champions, Hammer Sparks, and stuff like that. So this is a very good inclusion. It's very easy to put into the deck because it just naturally fits as a green deck, so had to put it in there. Then we got 4 of the Kokuamon X Antibody. This card is very strong just because it is our main searcher. It's going to be able to on-play, search the top 3, grab a Digimon with Insectoid or Machine, and then an X Antibody option. Can go on top of the Kokuamon here for free to get extra cycle on top of that, while also being able to have the Wind Digivolving, because the effect is Wind Digivolving or on play. So you're going to be able to get these search. So this is kind of key here, being able to find your pieces. You're going to see a lot of cards in this list are basically meant to search for your pieces, because with Grandis, you need to find that stack to be able to go in for game, or you're not really having the most effective deck. Next up, we got the 3 Jamming Palmon, which is very staple in the past green OTK decks, but I don't think it's as crazy anymore just because the Grandis does get up to 16k naturally, plus you have other ways to be able to gain DP boost, so you don't necessarily need it, but it is nice to have. If you are going to go in with just regular GrandisKuwagamon, this is much better, but if you're going to go in with Grandis, I don't think it's as crazy just because you're probably not going to go down in security anyway, so the jamming isn't that big. So I was playing this at 4. I decided to cut it down to 3 alongside the Terriermon, so that way I could fit in the on-play Tentomon, be able to search the top card of your deck. If it's a green Digimon, add it to your hand. It is just another consistency card, being able to, search for cards in your deck. Plus, the only really on-play that we have for rookie is the Kokuamon X Antibody. We do have Terriermon, which isn't the worst card to hard play, but it doesn't really do anything for us on the on-play. So being able to have another card that you can use to just play and pass turn is to search is going to be nice, because you are going to be sitting and raising a lot with this deck because you want to build up to Grandis, so you're going to need cards that you can hard play and get value out of. Now getting on into the champions, we do have 3 of the BT3 Stingmon. I think this is a much better one to Digivolve than something like Vegiemon. You aren't really going to be hard playing champions ever in this list, so having the 4-drop Vegiemon doesn't really mean anything. This Stingmon is a one to Digivolve with a very nice inheritable, where you're going to be able to essentially gain a memory if you go for piercing checks, which is very nice. I think it is good. I just preferred this over Vegiemon as the one to Digivolve, so that's where it's at. Then we got the 4 Weedmon. Of course, when you Digiburst this card, you get to gain a memory, so this is just another card that's going to be able to help you gain memory, extend your turns, and stuff like that, and you're going to naturally be Digibursting with the GrandisKuwagamon anyway, so this is just a fantastic card to have. Next up, we're getting into our 2 hybrids, which we are actually using Metal Kabuterimon, which is a hybrid that isn't used very often in these lists. A lot of other lists choose to use things like Arbormon because it is a 2 to Digivolve over your level 3, not a 3 to Digivolve over your level 3, and still a 2 over your Tamers. However, the reason why I like Metal Kabuterimon is the fact that it is a 1 to Digivolve over level 4. If you look at the cards that we have in the deck, we don't have a lot of ways to be able to stack over our Digimon for more inheritables outside of this Kokuamon X over the Kokuamon. So basically with the Metal Kabuterimon is if you Digivolve this for 1 over any of your champions, you are actually going to have that extra source to be able to get the 3rd Digiburst and get that extra security attack while also just being a hybrid. So while testing Arbormon, I didn't really find it that crazy. I pretty much actively wished that I could Digivolve for 1 over my champion, so I decided to switch over to Metal Kabuterimon. Haven't looked back at all just because it is very strong. If you do get the ability to put these on top of each other, which has happened once or twice, the suspend effect is pretty cool, but for the most part, it's just, this is your hybrid, but it also gives you the ability to get that extra source in your Digivolution stack so you can get that extra Digiburst. And then we have 3 blocker Kabuterimon. You could cut one of these Stingmon here to go up to 4 if you wanted to. I like the Kabuterimon at 3 just because it is a kind of defensive card. You do want it because you need to find your pieces with GrandisKuwagamon, and the blocker does help, but it's not super impactful. I'd much rather have the Stingmon and the Weedmon in these stacks over the Kabuterimon a lot of times. So this is more so when you hard play one of your on play rookies like the Tentomon, for example, and then you go to 0, you can Digivolve for 1, put your opponent at 1, and have a blocker up. That's kind of how I see it, but I don't think it's the most fundamental level 4. I still think that having these inheritables is going to be a little bit better for the consistency. Now, getting on into the ultimates, we are fairly standard, which is the 4 Okuamon and then the 4 Okuamon X Antibody. Honestly, I don't really see much that you could change here. You could maybe consider putting in something like Lilamon if you wanted another Digiburst Digimon there, but I don't think it's going to be worth it. The Okuamon package is very nice. 8 ultimates is already quite a bit, but if I could fit maybe one more Okuamon of another type, I would consider it, but I don't think it's really going to be worth it. These 8 are pretty good. Megas, again, are also going to be fairly standard with the 4 GrandKuwagamon and the 4 Grandis. This does sometimes feel fairly clunky running 8 Megas with 8 Ultimates, but you really need to find your pieces, so having them at 4 just maxes out your chances of being able to just get your stack as fast as possible. I'll be honest, I have considered going down to like 3 and 3 or maybe 4 and 3 or something like that just to get the clunkiness a little bit lower, but I've just had too many games where even with all these search options that I have that I just miss one of my key pieces in the Megas and I'm not able to get that full stack and go for game. So I just decided, hey, try and fill the deck with as much consistency as possible so that way you can play a couple bricks so that way you can hit them, because yes, these are bricks. When you get 2 or 3s in your hand, they are bricks. Now, getting on to our options and our tamers, the only options that we are playing are the 4 green memory boost. Just another consistency card. We get to search the top 4 and grab a green Digimon so we can find whatever pieces that we need, our level 4, level 5, level 6, whatever we need. Plus, we have the delay to gain 2 memory, which is going to help us extend our turns later. Or if we need it to just, if we're at 0, we go to 2 so that we can get our hybrid and go for game. Something like that. It's just very strong. We are in a memory boost metagame. A lot of decks are going to be playing 2, 3, 4 memory boosts, and I think 4 is going to be best here just because, like I said, we need full consistency. Which is also why we're running 3 Analog Youth. On play, you get to reveal the top 3 and grab a Digimon. You do trash the rest, but it doesn't really matter that much. We are just searching for the pieces. And then all turns, when one of your level 5 or higher Digimon with Digivolution sources does get deleted, you can suspend this to gain a memory and hatch one of your slots in the Digi-Egg. So being able to have this to help you gain memory later could be nice. If you have 2 of these out, you swing in with your ultimate. Maybe it goes down. You can tap these to kind of extend your plays. But mostly we're just here looking for the cheap search while having a potential upside in the all turns effect. Then to finish it off, we do have 2 Mimi as our memory tamer. I don't think the memory tamers are as crucial this format just because we are going super in on the green memory boost, so we are going to have multiple ways to gain memory through that. But of course, memory tamers are very useful in being able to start us at 3 no matter what. Pair that with the green memory boost, you're going to have even more memory. And then of course, we do have the ability of when we have a level 5 or higher green Digimon, we can suspend Mimi to either hatch a Digi-Egg or promote a Digimon from the raising area, so that can help get more aggression or cycle going, something like that. So Mimi does help, but I wanted to cut it down to 2 because I needed more room for these analogs because these don't search. They are nice for consistency in memory, but I'm also more looking for consistency in cards, so I valued analog a little bit more, so I decided to just stay with 2 here instead of running like 3 or 4 memory tamers like a lot of decks do. Well, that's going to be my Grandis list for BT9. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know down below what changes you would make, what you like and dislike about the Grandis, and what you're looking forward to play in the BT9 metagame. But with that being said, I will catch you next time. I hope you have a fantastic day. Peace out.